What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Welcome to your latest Manchester United transfer update show. And we're going to get into what happened tomorrow. What happened yesterday?
Yeah,
what happened yesterday? What happened tomorrow? We're going to get into what happened yesterday. I'm here with DJ. How you doing, bro? Real quick, how you doing?
Bro, I'm good. Woke up a bit vexed, but we're gonna get into it anyway.
Yeah, it's been a bit peak. We're definitely gonna get into that. And as you lot can see at the top of the stream, the top of the video, Camavinga still possible. We're gonna talk about that. Solskjaer's midfield crisis, midfield problem, whatever you want to call it. There's clearly issues there which we already knew, but they were ever present again yesterday. So we're going to talk about that. You lot know what to do. First of all, smash a like on the video, subscribe if you lot are new, and make sure you guys log in and let us know where you are watching from as well. That is what we want to see. But DJ, Fabrizio Romano coming out and a few other outlets saying that Camavinga's not going to sign a new deal at Rennes. He's almost certainly played his last game for Rennes, and he's available. He's available for 35 million, etc. Yeah. Thoughts?
Man, you know what? I think, you know what? Big up everybody that's tuning in this morning. Well, this afternoon, I should say, because it's like noon times now. But big up everybody. And you know what it is, Flex? For me, nothing's really changed. You know, I think we knew this coming into this season that we did need a midfielder. You know, we acquired, obviously, Varane and Sancho. And it seemed to me that Ollie was content with that. And I reckon that was to obviously do with like the finances. But I think even though Camavinga's available, I think Romano and the reports of that all going out, I think that will put pressure on Ollie to do something, especially with obviously the result, like yesterday's result. So I'm hoping that it kind of triggers them to want to do some business before the close of the window. But again, we're in the same position. We haven't sold anybody. That was the narrative from when we got Varane through the door, was that we needed to sell somebody to actually bring a midfielder in. Nothing's actually changed on that front. So I hate to be sort of like the bearer of bad news, but don't be surprised, guys, if, you know, Ollie doesn't trigger that deal and get that deal in. I hope he wants to get that deal in, and I hope he tries to push that. But for me, because nothing's changed on our end in terms of the business that we're doing, I'd like to think he comes in, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because you see the same situation occur yesterday with Fred and Matic, right? And Fred arguably played worse than Matic.
Yeah,
and it was one of them things where, with all the excitement that's been going on, which is due, you know, with the players that we signed, you still forget that there's a midfield issue in it. Or well, people ain't forgot, but it's almost like the team wanted to remind us.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, you know, we spoke about McTominay last week and stuff like that, and I don't think McTominay's a bad player. I don't think Fred is a bad player. I just think that they have limitations and they can only play in certain games. Now, you know, Rafael Varane, I'm just going to use him as an example, even though he's different class to them, he's different gravy. He's somebody that you can play in all types of games because he's that good. And I think in the middle of the park, we are crying out for someone that good and a specialist at CDM. You know, Matic, for as great as he is as our CDM, and he's our best one. That's the maddest thing. He's our best one. You can tell he looks a bit tired. He look not tired as in he's physically tired, but you know, he's got mileage on the clock now. Like he's getting on in his career. He's coming to sort of like the twilight of his career. He can't boss midfields like he used to because he was a really good player in his prime. You know, and we look at McTominay. McTominay is really good for, you know, bombing on forward. McTominay is more akin to maybe the Pogba role, getting forward. Defensively, I still think he gets found out a bit. Fred, high energy. I love that about Fred, the high energy. But when you need a midfielder that needs to be able to pass and move the ball forward, he is not your guy. So you literally have 3 CDMs there with all different like attributes and different weaknesses. We just need maybe a culmination of all of them, a mixture of all of them together in the perfect CDM at around the age of 25, 26. I know Camavinga's really young. And even if he did come in, let's just say wishful thinking, he did come in, that is still a heavy burden to place on his young shoulders in the Premier League, in CDM, in the engine room against, you know, the likes of Chelsea's, the Chelsea's and the Man Cities and stuff like that. So, you know, we need to do something about it because if we don't, these results are going to keep on happening. And that is the difference between a title winning side and a top 4 team, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. We've got to get it. We've got to get it sorted. I mean, we've spoken on here many times. How many times have I said, like, I'm not going to give Ollie that free pass because we don't have that midfielder that we can't challenge. Do you know what I mean? And be in the conversation. And essentially, I think if you get too many performances like that, of course, it will stop you being in the conversation. So I do understand why people say, I think even you were saying, I think you disagreed. You was like, nah, to be able to win the league and to be there, we can't have those two playing in midfield, or we need a better midfielder.
Yeah.
Which I do agree, but I just thought, I still think if they can get some consistency with that squad, somehow they should, like you said, Fred is not bad in every sense. He's bad in some senses, and McTominay's not bad in every sense, nowhere near, etc., etc. But you've got Donny van de Beek there, and you're not getting a tune out of him at all. Can't get any minutes. Do you know what I mean? Big up Lil Yo-Yo. Super chat. This is why I love Lil Yo-Yo. Always comes through. It's all love. Says, can we give a shout out to Flex on Sky Sports a couple of days ago? Fire. The 6 head was strong. Also, we need to sort out the midfield ASAP. 100%. You know what I mean? Shout out everyone with the big forehead. That's me. Got the big forehead gang. You know what I'm saying? Hairline strong, but yeah. 100%. 100%. You have to have the ability to kind of, you know what I mean, not laugh at yourself, but embrace yourself and feel comfortable in your own skin. KG is bald. I'm not bald. I got the big forehead. That is what it is. That is what it is. More. My Jamaican nan used to say that means you're more knowledgeable. You know what I mean? You've got a bigger brain. That's what she say. So shout out to Lil Yo-Yo. And Kevin McT says, I hope and pray that Donny van de Beek walks in Ollie's office and demands a move. I hope he exposes him for the terrible coach he is. You can't win the league with Ollie. Strong words there from Kevin. But just, on Donny van de Beek, I mean, we weren't really, this is about talking about the roundup, I suppose, and we'll get back to Camavinga and the midfield situation. There's some updates coming in as we've been live regarding Jesse Lingard, Phil Jones and Dalot with the Trippier situation. We'll talk a little bit about that. But into that Van der Beek situation, how do you... I couldn't get any minutes, bro. Couldn't get any minutes. And Lingard come on for 5 minutes.
So this is the maddest thing, yeah. I've been connecting with a lot of people that are fan of the channel on Twitter. And shout out a guy called At The Connect, yeah. He came up with a really good statement. And his statement was literally just, you cannot buy a Rolls Royce and have it parked there. You can't just buy a Rolls Royce and just park it up. Like, drive the car, let everybody see the car, go on the motorway, go on the dual carriageway, use the car, innit? Like, we've got a lovely player there, like a talented player there. Come through the Ajax system. We can reel off his accolades and in his pedigree. We can do that all day. And to think that we have a player that came on who we are thinking about selling, and we had a player that was half fit in Scott McTominay that was chosen above him. Like, I need Ollie to provide some answers now. We can do the whole he's trained good for a week because that's his blanket statement. Yeah, literally. Yeah, Connect the Real. That's the guy.
Real shouting,
Connect, man. You know, I had to obviously.
He's always there. He's always there.
Yeah. Big up Connect, man. And yeah, like, we can't have this talented player sitting on a bench who can do a much better job than Fred. Like, Donny van de Beek, for me, in that game yesterday, Flex, he would have added a little bit more composure on the ball in that congested midfield. His quality of passing would have been much better. He would have made better decisions. He's better in tight-knit situations when the ball comes to his feet. I was thinking that Ollie was going to go with Matic and Van der Beek because we'd seen that in pre-season and it actually worked quite well. I think Van der Beek would have definitely linked up very well with Pogba and definitely well with Bruno. And it just, literally, I just don't understand why Ollie is doing this. Like, we're not here for the PR no more. We're not here for the whole, he's trained well. He's a good boy. He's trained well. He really wants to get into the team. He's going to be used this season. No, Ollie, you need to find out now how he can be used because clearly McTominay, obviously he got an injury, and Fred, they're not up to scratch at the moment in time. So give someone a chance. That is good enough, and that has been playing very well in pre-season, and that is Donny van de Beek.
Yeah, 100%. And it just, I don't know, man. It just looks like it just looks like he's not going to get that chance. Like, it's so sad because I was speaking to someone from Ajax actually, like last week. I've done a show with him on Complex, and he's like he runs a social media channel with Ajax, and he's always around the players. He's with Edwin van der Sar. And I just asked him, like, do some of the players there kind of speak about him, and what do you think about? And he was just saying, like, and he's actually a United fan, actually. Yeah. But he just works out there. And he was just basically saying, like, I just don't get it. I don't get. He goes, like, when he was here, he was like a god, and like the way he plays football, the way he moves the ball, he's such an intelligent player, and he's got so much to offer. And he's just not being allowed to do it, to the point where even when we are asking him to come in, it is for a quick little 10 minutes. What can you really do? Then you're not playing again for another 4 games, or you're not making a start for another 10 games, or like he just can never build up any consistency. Like we can't even. Richard Ting said here, this is interesting. Van der Beek will end up like Lukaku, getting forced out the club. It might be for different reasons, because at the time people didn't want Lukaku there because of the touch and hold up play and that. and then you look at it though. This is an interesting thing. You look at what Lukaku says, and he says that he worked under Conte, and Conte made him a better player. He always bigs him up. He helped me with my back to goal. He helped me with bringing people into play. He helped me become a complete striker. Gary Neville spoke about Lukaku yesterday and said he's a complete striker. It kind of makes you think, could we not have done that? Like, do you know what I mean? And people will say that's the coaching staff. Oli didn't want to do it. And I think what Oli did do, what gave him the credit in the bank when that happened, was the fact that actually he banked on Martial and put his faith into him. And then Martial had a wicked season that year. Yeah. And then Mason came through that year as well. So it was kind of justified in the end. But if you think about it, next year, we're going to need a player like Lukaku.
Yeah, I know.
This version of Lukaku, or a Haaland, or do you know what I mean? Which is kind of frustrating because 2 years ago we had him.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I've kind of gone off topic there. We weren't even talking about Lukaku, but do you know what I mean? I was kind of using that with the Van der Beek situation, because someone said that's what's going to happen to him.
Yeah, but the Lukaku thing is something that I have thought about over, like, the last couple of years and stuff like that. And just to touch on it quickly, like, Lukaku for me is a top striker because, they used to call him the one-track bully. Against Southampton, he would have bagged a hat-trick. Do you know what I mean? Like, against the smaller teams, he would have bagged a hat-trick. Now, if you would have added in sort of the players we've now assembled now around him, if he's not up to it in the big games, they can take over. Bruno could have taken over. Do you know what I mean? So, hindsight's always 2020, but I think Oli at the time seemed very justified. It looked like the decision was the correct one. Martial was firing. Martial looked like a good striker, number 9, and he came into his own. And even if we didn't develop Lukaku and help him and nurture him as maybe Conte has, we kind of put that in Martial at the time because Martial then was improving. So, it kind of balances us out. But I get what you mean. Now we're kind of left a little bit like, we do need a 25-goal, 30-goal season striker, So, but yeah, that's just on the Lukaku thing.
Yeah, no, it's true. And just kind of relating it back to Donny van der Beek, I think a similar situation can happen because eventually, like he's clearly a model professional and he's clearly patient and clearly backs his ability and thinks he can, after 1 year, hasn't just decided to throw in the towel. He's gone, I think I can break in here. Eventually, bro, if he has another season like last year, he's going to want out. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? The world, I mean, I think he's good enough, and this is no disrespect to the Dutch team, but because of his name and his caliber of player, he's still good enough to probably get in their squad without, he was good. He was in their squad last year and then got injured and had to come out of it, even though he hardly kicked the ball, because they know how good he is. They will always appreciate him and know that he should be playing more football. So I don't think he has to worry about, I'm not going to get into the Dutch team for the World Cup next year, even though that's not this season. But eventually he's going to think, I've wasted 2 years here now. I've tried for 2 whole years and I haven't got, nothing has changed. Especially if Pogba re-signs the deal and stays long term, especially when we're going to need a striker next year. It just kind of takes it, and then we're going to buy another midfielder, defensive midfielder as well. He's going to go further down the pecking order, and he can't get a game now. So eventually he's going to leave. Kiel says, if you watch The Last Dance, which I did, I feel like Ollie is the coach before Phil Jackson. That coach was a good manager, but can't get it over the line. Interesting thoughts. I think it's a fair analysis of where we're at. That's we've got a talented squad, but we just don't have enough to kind of get that to get over the line, to basically to get over the line, like they said in the super chat. So I understand that. Hopefully Oli can prove us wrong this year that he can go over the line. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that is annoying. But on the Camavinga thing though, because some people are saying, actually, is he even the right player for us?
See, that's another thing. Is he a CDM?
Or do we just want him because he's there?
We just want him because he's there. And I think, this transfer window, and you know what? I don't really give the board a lot of props, but I'll give him props for this. What they've done is they've highlighted, you can tell there's a clear criteria this transfer window. They are trying to get players, apart from probably Sancho, that the deal was probably half done. They are trying to get players that are coming to the end of their contracts where they can get them on the cheap, a little bit cheaper than usual. And I respect it. And we've got Varane out doing the same thing. Varane's gone for a price that we would have never thought he would ever go for. And that's Rafael Varane. top 3 best defenders in world football. Yeah, top 5 definitely.
Definitely.
So when you're looking at the Camavinga, it's very similar to that. Like, he's not going to sign a new contract. We can get him from anything, I believe, from 35 million to 40 million. And that's a steal for a player that we're hearing as being touted as the next this and that in the French squad. So I've followed his career a little bit. I'm not going to say I've seen him week in, week out, but from what I have seen of him, tidy player. But is he a CDM? Like, there's that, I don't know how you pronounce the name, Tuchemeni? Chouameni, sorry. Chouameni.
Yeah.
For me personally, I've seen
he's more of a defensive midfielder.
He is more what you would want. Destroyer, can pass, can run with the ball. Not to say that Camavinga can't tackle, because I've seen him put a shift in, but I think for the model that I personally like my CDM, it's either going to be a deep lying ball player, kind of like your Neves is, or you get a destroyer. It's either one of the two. I think we even need one of the two to complement this team. And I think if we do get him, it'll be kind of like, yeah, we've got him now. Everyone shut up. we've got the CDM, we've got the midfielder that we needed. But is he going to play? That's another thing. Is he going to play?
Yeah, that's the question mark. I've seen a lot of people talking about that. We've seen with Donny van de Beek, when we got him, he was obviously very excited, very good price, and assumed, maybe stupidly or naively, we assumed that he's going to get game time over the likes of McTominay or a Fred or a Matic or whatever, which clearly hasn't happened. If we do go and get a young Camavinga, was he 19 years of age, 18 years of age? 19, I think.
Yeah.
Like, is he going to put him in, game out, over the likes of Matic, over the likes of Fred, over the likes of McTominay?
Yeah,
I don't think he would.
It depends. If he's like a Greenwood, but in that position, then yeah, play him. But there's not many.
Well, Sonia says the only teenager Ollie starts is Greenwood.
Exactly. Unless he's like that in his position on the field, then I would say play him if he is this generational talent. But again, it's the Premier League at 19 coming into the Prem, and the Prem now, we've acquired some really good players that have come into the Prem. You look at Chelsea's team, look at our team, you look at Man City, even Leicester. Like, they've got decent teams. There's decent teams about, decent professionals. And for him to come in at 18, 19, it's a big ask. It is a big ask. Like, I'm not going to lie, and I know this is off topic. I'm still a bit kind of cautious with Sancho, because, he's still got to get up to speed and stuff like that. And I don't want the hatchet men to be coming out for him. Oh, he's a flop, because of his age. And it's the Prem. It's different. It is a different league. It's a different animal altogether. Yeah. Camavinga's going to have people screaming, dissing him, chucking things. It's raw here. It's a raw league. So you're going to have to be prepared physically and mentally for that. And I'm not too sure. I don't really know of his persona like that, if he's going to be
also,
ready
and another
this.
thing, you do have to be careful with young players of just going, oh yeah, he's good, he can run around, like just put him in 90 minutes every game, like put that on his shoulders. You do have to be careful.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a valid point to bring to the table, again, because of evidence, not off of agenda, or you don't like Ollie, or you're trying to spread negativity. Off of facts of what you've seen already, is that nobody has seemed to displace McTominay or Fred. No new player, no player that we already have, nothing. That is his go-to. And when it's not that, it's Matic. And then we see where the limitations are. Z says, why do other teams play with high intense press and always hungry to recover the ball after losing it, while we play like celebrities with zero hunger? Basically saying we're not intense enough.
Yep.
And Tok says Oli needs to get his shit together, or he will be the sacrificial lamb for Pogba to re-sign, and Zidane will replace him. Wow.
That's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good point.
It's not. I think. Look, what I will say, talking a bit about yesterday, is I think you have to have a little bit of caution, because obviously it is only the second game of the season, but we can't have our blinkers on. That type of performance, that type of performance wasn't something that was like, well, you know what? We've not really ever really seen that from that side. So let's just go on the side of 100% it's down to fitness, and 100% it's down to getting back up to speed. You can't say that it is. Again, not off agenda, but off of fact. How many times have we seen a performance like that? It looked like we was rolling in from last year and the year before. So does it mean we're not going to challenge? Does it mean we're going to go on an awful run? Does it mean, we're going to have a crap season? Of course it doesn't. Because look how we started. Look at the state of the season we started last year. And then we got some form together and we didn't lose the game. But if you're looking for aspirations for being at the top of the top, you can't afford too many more of those, even this early.
Yeah. Do you know the craziest thing? Yeah, I was thinking in the game was that, we came in with Fred and Matic in the midfield. And I'm not even gonna lie, Flex. If you went with McFred, I would have been like, whatever, yeah. But I actually think Fred played worse because he wasn't with McTominay. That's been his partner. That's been his partner. So I think that maybe contributed to how awful he played. Another player that I think needs to kind of be shouted out for one of these worser games he's had in quite a while is Luke Shaw. I didn't think he played well.
That's the first bad game he's had. That's the first notable bad game in probably 18 months.
Yeah.
So, that's how good he's been. But you are right. He wasn't his usual self. He wasn't
his usual self. And we seem to do this thing where we walk, we jog. Like Luke Shaw's got the ball and he's literally jogging. The player's closing him down and he's jogging. And he got caught out of possession maybe once or twice. I know Maguire did maybe once or twice as well. And that's because we're moving the ball slow. I always say this United team play much better when it's 1-2 touch football. We play some amazing stuff. It goes through the lines really quickly. I just don't understand. I don't know if it's a fitness thing. I just don't understand why we're not playing like that all the time. When we move it one touch, there's hardly anyone that can get close to us. So
I spoke to someone yesterday. I don't know if you saw in the fan views. He was basically getting onto Wan-Bissaka, and Fake Sonia says here, Flex DJ, do you think we should have played Dallo? He offers the attacking presence. Aaron Wan-Bissaka does not. And somebody in the comments, they've gone now, but they said, please, can you talk about Wan-Bissaka? So let's do that. This is you guys' show. It's interactive. You guys get to decide the topics as well as we move through the show. I've always maintained the same position on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You've seen the shows. You've seen me and KG argue. like defensively, he's absolutely fantastic. And you give him his props and you grab it, you park it, and you leave it to the side because he cannot be questioned in one-on-one defending. He can be questioned in terms of his positioning sometimes when the ball's over the other side of the pitch and that long sweeping ball goes over his head. And do you know what I'm saying? Positional sense, sometimes he can improve, but he's a phenomenal one-on-one defender. But with the ball at his feet, there was a pass. I was in front of the away end and I was on that side of the pitch near the corner flag as well, where it was the last few moments of the game and he just needed to knock it down the line, I think, to Sancho or whoever was on the right-hand side. I think it was Mason. I can't remember who. And he just spooned it out. It was a really easy pass to make, and that just topped off his day. It topped off his day. I mean, he had one good cross that was put on Bruno's head, to be fair, which was a good cross. But other than that, by his standards, he just kept giving the ball away. And some people are saying, like, this is why he's not good enough. This is why we need someone else. This is why Dallo should play. This is the reason why I think Kieran Trippier would have been actually a very good addition to our squad and would have played more games than people think, because I think he's a better balanced right back than Wan-Bissaka, a better balanced right back. Not better at defending, not better in a slide tackle, a better balanced right back. And I think what he may lack in complete out and out pace and having long legs and reaching the ball from far and sliding, he will give you in calmness. He will give you in first time passes round the corner, give and go, in intelligence, in delivery, in passing in general, and looking after the football. And I just think Wan-Bissaka, I think Wan-Bissaka will improve, but I think it's always going to be something that he struggles with. I don't think he's ever going to be completely polished. I just think that's how his technique is, how he receives the ball, his body shape. So I think he can improve. I think he definitely can improve, and he's unbelievable at right back. And if everyone's playing well, it's not really that noticeable. But when Luke Shaw's not having a good game, then Maguire's not having a good game, then the midfield aren't popping it off, then you got Wan-Bissaka doing what he kind of would normally do, which is be a bit iffy with his passing. It becomes a bigger problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. With Wan-Bissaka, it's clear to me that he's sort of like a throwback defender. I think maybe this generation of football isn't for him. I think, maybe previous generations of football where it wasn't really about attacking fullbacks, he probably would have been, people would have probably said Ballon d'Or or whatever because of how good he is one-on-one defending. But I just think that he's struggling with the attacking aspect of our game. And that is down to Ollie and the team to, see what works best for him. Because what I did see when he did the cross was they clearly looked at kind of Sancho's relationship at Dortmund with either the right back or the left back. And what Sancho would do is hug the touchline, and then the fullback would then do the underlap, and then Sancho, because he's a good passer of the ball, would play in. And they did that for, I think that nearly for the Bruno chance or whatever it was, yeah? So I'm thinking that if they can work around doing that and making sure that that's something that they can incorporate on the right-hand side of the field, then he may cut through a little bit. We won't see it as much because he'll be getting the ball in the box. But I think his one-on-one taking on, the opposition left-back, he struggles. He does struggle. He has pace. Don't get me wrong, he has pace, but
yeah, he can get
struggles.
past people.
So he does need. Now we've got Sancho. I hope I'm going to give him a bly for this one. I'm going to allow him this one game because he needs to develop that partnership. Once that the partnership, maybe 10 games in, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in, we'll have a better understanding if it's a him problem or is it an Ollie problem. Because we need to see now, because we've got a right winger there now, one of the best. So we need to see how he plays. For me as well, I do believe he. Defensively, that's the thing. That's what's always going to save him, Flex. But Trippier, again, a more cultured, more matured, intelligent football player, someone that has got mileage on the clock. He's seen it. He's played against the biggest players, and he offers something different, And this is where Ollie will be in question. I did believe that Dalot should have came on yesterday. That was one of my subs I did say. I think Dalot should have come on because we need to change it up now. I get Ollie wants to keep the same 11 and keep everyone happy and etc. like that, but when things aren't working, now you need to earn your bread. We need to now see your coaching. We need to see your skill level now. When the players can't quite do it in the game, when we're struggling, we need to now see the coach. I've seen Sir Alex do it time and time again. I've seen Mourinho even do it. Like, they change something in the game to get a response. They do something that changes it. We're not talking about, your like for likes, like, Matic comes off, so put McTominay on. What's McTominay really going to add to that game? Not much.
He wasn't very good when he come on as well. He struggled, a couple of fouls, and he just couldn't get into the game.
Exactly.
Like many others couldn't.
Exactly. So we need to see a little bit more initiative and a little bit more creativity from our management and our coaches, I believe.
An update from one outlet, Graham Bailey, who's the transfer correspondent over at 90 Minutes and a sports writer on planetsport.com. He's basically given an update on Camavinga, and what he says is that PSG see themselves as favourite. They see themselves as favourites for Camavinga. Real Madrid, Man United, Liverpool, and Chelsea, so not many, were not anticipating the sale this summer, but that won't stop them getting involved. So Man United are involved, and PSG feel like they're very much going to be the one. Chelsea also feel a deal is there to be done, and Real Madrid are in constant contact. So they've sparked a bidding war, Renz, because they've basically come out and said that they're willing to sell because Camavinga won't sign a new deal. So they're now ready to sell him before the end of the transfer window. So if you're joining us, Manchester United, PSG, Real Madrid, Liverpool, and Chelsea are among the clubs to be interested. So, and also, I do think he's got his heart set in Paris or maybe even Real Madrid.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have that feel that would pull that one off. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to talk about, since you were talking about the Trippier situation, this was from Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News. He said, even though a late move for Kieran Trippier is still unlikely and Diogo Dalot is likely to stay, the Portugal international has not yet received a definitive answer on his future from Solskjaer. So again, he hasn't been told definitely you are staying, you're going to be here. It's more like a let's see where we go in the next few days of the transfer window. And also, he goes on to say that Solskjaer has not given Jesse Lingard a definitive decision on whether he is staying. Lingard is valued at 25 million, but a club is not expected to submit an offer near that figure. So I think if the right deal comes in, the right money comes in for Jesse, they would sell. I do agree with that. But, Jesse Lingard come on late yesterday. That, is that a little thing of saying I do still... That is... do you know what? That is Ollie saying, I still believe in you. You can still play a little part. And that's what I'm saying. I've said this many times. Because of the relationship he has with Lingard, he's completely comfortable that if he stays, I'll use him in little spells like that, little 10 minutes here. Do you know what I mean? Carabao Cup, whatever. Come on, Premier League, last 15 minutes of the game or whatever. Like we saw, we really needed a goal and we turned to Jesse to help us get that goal. So, okay, fair enough. Well, not really fair enough because we think that a lot of people think that he should be sold or he's not going to get the game time. But this is what I meant. You can see it a mile off. Oli is comfortable either way. Tabarez says, no reason to dream about Solskjaer firing. Oli is the perfect manager for the Glazers because of he has the fan appeal. No competent sporting director would hire him. Tabarez has been Oli out for a long time. And JP119 says, teams have us mazed. They know we don't want to go down our right-hand side. I'm a defender myself, and unfortunately these days the expectation is you do more than just tackle. 100%, you do have to do more than tackle. You do.
Yeah.
But on that kind of news coming in, DJ, what we just spoke about, where do you stand on that, what I've been saying?
Yeah, I think if there's a deal to be done, we'll do it. I do disagree with the people that say, Ollie's the right type of manager. He's a yes man. I don't believe that, because from things that I hear that he does question the Glazers, and he says, look, we need to do things this way, not the other way, kind of thing. And I think he mentioned it in terms of if they don't get their number one target, he'd rather wait instead of bringing in someone that he doesn't really want. I don't know whether that was some form of shade for Donny van der Beek, but I heard that Solskjaer did come out and say something like that. But just touching on kind of what you were speaking about was that I do think if there's a deal to be made, we'll do it. Ollie's not stupid. One thing I like about Ollie, he's not stupid. He'll come out and say the little things that maybe that appease the Glazers a bit, but he knows that this team, for as good as it is, there's still a few more things we need to be doing, and there still needs a few more positions we need to be strengthening. Striker will be next year, but at this moment in time, it probably is the right back situation if we can't bring someone in, or a CDM. Ollie's not blind. He's going to want to be able to bring that in. It's whether we can, as I said at the start of the show, nothing has changed at United yet. We haven't sold anybody for money. We haven't, you know what I mean? We ain't sold them for money. There's a lot of loans, which are great, but we haven't sold anyone. So our position is still the same. So this news, even though it's great to say, yeah, Camavinga's on the move, or, Trippier potentially we can try and bring him in, we haven't sold anybody. And that's what, and I said, that's the narrative that we were sold. We need to sell before we buy again. So unless we can get someone out in the next couple of days, it's going to have to be one of the quickest transfers ever. We won't be bringing in anybody, I don't think. And I don't think we'd bring in a right back, and a CDM. I don't think we'll bring in, it'd be either one of the two. Yeah,
no, it's true. I see where you're going with that, because what we've got to do is the outgoings need to happen. So it's all good the Camavinga being available.
Exactly.
Innit? It's all good Camavinga being available, but we can see how stacked we are in midfield. Not stacked with the quality that we want, but I've been through many times the amount of players that can play in central midfield positions, up to 9. I think I counted, or 8 or 9. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you include like Mata, who can play in a 10, Jesse, who can play in a 10, Donny, etc., Matic, McTominay, Fred, Pogba. Like, it's absolutely stacked in that area. Andreas has gone, that's 1 down. So maybe it's down to sort of 7. But, it's true. If we don't make the outgoings, then there's going to be no chance of a Camavinga coming in at all. Do you know what I mean? And that is an issue. That is an issue. I just don't see how it happens unless someone leaves. I wanted to talk about Martial as well and see what you made of him. Some people in the comments, someone said there that they don't think he led the line. I spoke to a guy yesterday who was really critical of Anthony Martial. He said he thinks he should leave. He's had his time. He says he plays in spurts, and he's not what we need. We need a 20-goal man, and he's not it.
Yeah.
How do you see it?
You know what? First of all, I want to say the slander against Martial in the beginning, when it all first started happening, I thought it was a bit unjust, because he had just come off a season that was phenomenal for him. Do you know what I mean? He had like literally broke down expectations, and he was doing well. And then he had a stinker of a season last season. And I think it's a little bit unjust. However, when we're looking at a striker, a centre forward that Manchester United need, I'm not gonna lie. Me and my brother was sitting. You met my brother. My brother was screaming, shouting, whatever.
Yeah, he was.
And he was saying, it's not Anthony's fault. Like, leave him. And I said, I've seen Cavani run from top of the pitch to the halfway line, tackle a man, and begin to play. I've seen him do it. And Cavani is literally in the twilight of his career, 34, I believe. Yeah, like Martial, I ain't seen him do that. I like players that literally want to play for the team. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying you need to do more. When you can't just be the luxury striker that stands up at the edge of the pitch, waiting for the counter attack or waiting for the ball on the top. to be fair, I didn't see a lot of movement for him. There was like 1 or 2 times he'd run the channel, but there wasn't enough for me. He wasn't occupying the defenders. The defenders had an easy game. Do you know what I mean? It was more so Pogba being able to get into the final third and try and create that bit of magic. Martial, for me, I do believe the writing is on the wall. It's up to him and him alone to prove us as fans wrong. Well, the ones that think that his time is up. It's literally up to him. There's nothing else that we can do or we can say. Talented player, but too much inconsistency, and he's really off form at the moment. So the question is, guys, do we continue playing him in hopes that he can reach form, because every player deserves a chance? Or do we say, nah, Anthony, you're going to have to eat bench for a few games because he's going to be really behind the pecking order once Cavani comes back?
It was like Ollie said that, he wants to get Martial up to speed, and they want to get him firing again. Because I was quite surprised to see him start. Well, I suppose I was surprised because I didn't think Ollie would go with him. But if you actually look at the process of what's been going on for about 10, 15 minutes against Leeds, started the game against Burnley midweek. So it's almost like you're building back to fitness to then start, which is why I thought Sancho would start. I thought it was a shoo-in that Sancho would start. Yeah. But I was surprised that Martial started and Sancho didn't, or Martial started over Sancho. Yeah. But I feel like it's a bit of Ollie kind of, that to me is a little bit of Ollie loyalty. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to put the new guy in over you and make you feel away. I'm going to show you that you've got a chance to keep going. Look, Martial nearly scored with that kind of goal line fracas. Yeah. Other than that, I counted, there was 2 runs that he made in behind where the ball reached him. Other than that, he wasn't really in the game. Now, I'm a striker myself. I've played striker myself, and it's very frustrating when your team is not keeping the ball very well. They're not attacking very well. The balance isn't quite there, and you're not really seeing the ball. So I get that side of it. I won't just label that at him. But in general, would I say that he did enough to really, convince me? Probably not in that game. But he is still working his way back to fitness. But he wasn't good. He was another one who wasn't consistent, good enough yesterday. Yeah. As well as many others. It wasn't just him. So I won't label that just at him. You've got to keep it consistent. But I just feel like there's it's a growing number of people who are like, you know what, Tony, I don't really get it. And it's like, I don't think he's ever going to get to be the main number 9 again. Nah. Because let's face it, Ollie made him the main number 9 when Lukaku left. And we were like, okay, cool. Literally gave him the number 9 back. He scored over 20 goals that season, had a really good season. Last season, struggled, injuries, and just really bad play. And then Cavani come in last year and done what he done, and Mason's been put in there. And then when Cavani leaves, there's no way we're going to go, it's okay, we'll just keep Martial as the number 9. They're going to go big and try and get a 9. So where is his future then?
Martial, the writing is on the wall. Yeah, if he doesn't improve, from now to the end of the season, he has to do an absolute madness flex. But
I don't even think he's going to get as much opportunity like he used to, because Mason's doing well. Exactly. Sancho's here now. When Rashford gets back, he's the man. And Cavani is arguably going to be the starting striker, or depending what Greenwood does. So now now's his time. And I know his time's a little bit rushed for him, because he probably wants to be fully fit. But now's his time to do something of note. So we're like, right, selection headache for Ollie. It's not going to be a selection headache for Ollie. I think the only selection headache is whether... Marcus is out, so you just put Sancho on the left, and you could put maybe like Greenwood on the right, and then Cavani up top. Perfect. I'm happy with that. That's what I want to see personally. But for Martial, I do believe he's on borrowed time, man. And if the rumors and us United fans, we're not silly, Haaland, might be available. There's a buyout clause I'm hearing. Martial. It's not looking good. It just isn't looking good. And it's sad to say, he's got like literally everything against him right now. All the cards are stacked against him. Look what Greenwood's doing at number 9 when he does come central. He's doing an absolute madness, man. Like an absolute madness. Like, you can't even compare the two right now. And to think when Martial came in for 50 million, he looked like an amazing player. Still is a good player, but the consistency isn't there. And Mason, he's had his inconsistent patches, but he's in a rich vein of form right now, scoring 2 and 2. He's looking lively, and he's playing more like a centre forward for me than what Martial's doing. So I know Martial's probably looking across and seeing that,
But Flex, man, I believe the writing's on the wall, man. He's on borrowed time. Clock's ticking.
It does. It does. It does. It does. No, it does. It does seem that way, innit? Like he's got to. I don't know, man. It's you can only be given so much chances before, even if it's unfortunate, before the squad actually just moves on. Like I think the squad is starting to move on from Tony with the way I look at it. Now, football's a crazy game, innit? There could be an injury, or he could get a run of games and then just start hitting some form. There'll be nothing more than I like. Whoever plays, I want him to smash it.
Yeah.
When I did see Martial start, like I tweeted before the game, I was like, I'm a bit surprised, but it's a start for him to kickstart his season and get going. So I wanted to see him involved. I wanted to see him score. Of course we do. We want Man United to win. But I just look at the players that are there now, and I look at where we're potentially going to be in a year's time, and it's almost like he will probably be the fall guy. But someone said there that, you know, Martial only not long ago was almost the player of the season. Yeah, the season before last.
Yeah.
How many times how much have we seen that over his 7 year spell? Not too often. And there comes a point where Ollie's going to have to say at the end of this season, when Cavani leaves, am I gonna bank on Manchester United? Am I going to put Manchester United's future in the hands, or goal scoring future in the hands of Anthony Martial, or would I go and try and buy a proven goal scorer, a killer? Do you know what I mean? In front of goal. So, and I think the answer is the latter. Do you know?
The thing is as well, man, when he had that amazing season, he was cold in front of goal. He was actually outshining Rashford in terms of finishing. He was cold in front of goal. Yeah. And it's kind of like he's just gone a bit soft. Like, I don't see that killer Anthony, the electric pace in the box, bit of skill. Like, we're just not seeing it. We're seeing a man that kind of just, I don't know whether he's reached the peak of his powers. I think that's another thing to discuss as well. Has he reached his ceiling in terms of just his ability? Maybe this is as good as he's going to get. Can he improve a little bit more? I don't know. Ollie and the coaching staff are the only ones that really know that question. But for me, I just don't see him kicking on. And I know, look, it's the second game in. And I think, you know what, I have to be very careful. It's the second game in. Long season ahead. There's going to be loads of games. I'm pretty sure he's going to get some chances here and there. There's going to be injuries.
Oh, definitely.
All of that stuff. So I'm fully behind him as a United supporter and as a fan of the team. I would love nothing more. I do think if he gets one goal, you'll see the performances start picking up. It's a confidence thing. Like I played left wing, number 10 striker, so I know it's a confidence thing. When your confidence is down, nothing's going in. Literally nothing is going in until it does. And when it does, the floodgates open. So I'm hoping he does have a floodgate moment. He don't care if it's a scruffy goal, and you will see his performance then start getting better, I believe.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how that plays out. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Where you guys have been, it's been really mixed in the comments. A lot of people saying, you know, they think the time's up. A lot of people, and some other people were saying, listen, let's hold on a minute. Let's stop the disrespect. Keep playing him, get him back fit. The season before last, he was our best player. He's fantastic. It really is split. And I think the people who maybe don't think Martial is the guy, it's not hate and toxic or nothing like that. It's very much like based off evidence of what they've seen, in a calm way of saying, you know what, I'm just not sure. They are sure now that he's not the guy. Do you know what I mean? After giving him so much backing, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes.
I've got a question, Flex. Yeah, just quickly, just before you move on. Yeah, in terms of Martial, do you think it'd be wise for Ollie to maybe move him to the left? Sancho's getting there up to speed now. Maybe Sancho go right wing and Mason down the middle. Do you think that could be a thing? Obviously, them three anyway, they always rotate. But do you think maybe putting him on the left where he can get a chance to maybe dribble at? Because he was really good at that, coming in from that left, linking up with Shaw. Yeah. And he got into a couple of positions there yesterday in that inside left channel when he made a few runs. I think it could be a thing. And I think for him to get a bit more game time, I think it might have to be a thing, because I don't see him. I don't see him playing up front that much anymore. When Cavani gets back fit, we don't know how Ollie's going to play this. I said this before the season started. I said there's going to be, you could either do it this way. You could do Rashford and Martial as the two left wingers. You can have Greenwood and Cavani as the two strikers. And then you can have Sancho and Dan James as your two right wingers. Or maybe Ahmad if he don't go nowhere, or you know what I mean? Or you could be a bit more adaptive with that and say, you could argue and say, Mason could be a right winger with Sancho,
and Dan James could be a left winger with Rashford, and Cavani and Martial are your two strikers. So it's quite an interchanging, you know what I mean, set of players that we've got there, 6 attacking players that we've got there who are going to be the main 6. And you can add Jesse into that as a left winger or a right winger or a number 10. So I think Martial's going to accept that. I don't think he's going to have a home this year of a position. Obviously, he's got a home as a team and as a club. But in terms of a position on the pitch, I don't think he's going to have a mainstay. I think sometimes he is going to have to play on the left, or sometimes he is going to have to play up front. On the right, I don't even think I've ever seen him play on the right. Not very often.
No.
I can't even think of not in recent times anyway, of where he's played on the right. He's always kind of come from the left or been up front. So I think, to answer your question, that's got to be an option for him, because he's not a shoo-in at number 9. Mason Greenwood is ahead of him in the number 9 position right now. Yeah. I think
by quite a big margin as well.
And I know technically he's not, because Ollie picked not like Martial as the 9 yesterday. He did. And obviously when he come off, he moved Mason to 9, and then Sancho come on and went on the right, etc. But I think with the way he's playing, the game before Mason started against Leeds, we'll see. Ollie's got a big decision to make. Does Ollie look at Tony yesterday and say that was 60 minutes that he really needed? I still believe in him. He goes again at Wolves, and Sancho starts this time though. But then who are you going to take out? Because Pogba's doing bits from the left still. Cavani's going to start knocking on the door, and Mason scored again. So Mason and Pogba start the next game.
Yeah.
And
do you know
Sancho
what I would do though?
Should start the next game.
Do you know what I would do? And you know what? I don't want to kind of like, because I know there's going to be a preview and stuff like that, but I'll just quickly say, in terms of the midfield, I do think that Pogba should go back into the midfield, maybe with McTominay, and then have maybe Sancho left, Greenwood right, Martial up top. Obviously interchangeable, you know, they're never going to stay in those positions, but something along those lines, because I do feel we need someone in the middle of the park that can get a hold of the ball and make things happen, man. Like, yesterday was just horrible, man. It was horrible. It was horrible to watch.
I know it's not preview time yet, and you're right, but since you brought it up, I think after playing that poorly in central midfield yesterday, I think Ollie goes straight back to McTominay and Fred.
He will.
I do.
He will.
I do.
He will.
I don't.
He
hasn't played Paul Pogba in central midfield for ages.
Yeah, he's a winger now, isn't he?
He's literally the new left winger, or right winger, or whatever. I think Ollie will want to revert back to McTominay and Fred for that energy and the whole buzzing around the place and being busy. I don't see him doing a Pogba McTominay. I don't. I feel like he'll go straight back to what he knows. Parallel says, all I'm saying is, if the Premier League want rough, let's release the elephant, aka Bailly. He'll show them this new rough rules are bad news for Lindelof. Yeah, you know what? Ollie said that, you know, we don't want the game going from basketball, you know, to rugby, you know, or American football. He never said American football, but you get the gist. You know, there's a lot of fouls that the refs are letting go. The Bruno one, I ain't gonna lie, I just felt like I've seen them given and not given.
Yeah.
But when I keep watching it back, it is a bit. I'm still a bit undecided, but my gut feeling, even when I first saw it, was, you know, you got to be a bit stronger there, Bruno. But in this new rules, are we seeing a little bit too much get let go?
Listen, if you guys were flying the wall in my house yesterday, me and my brother, big argument when that happened. Big argument.
Because what one saying it's a foul, one saying it's not.
I'm saying that's a foul. Because I've seen Matic and McTominay do that in other games and get not booked, but they get pulled for that. Yeah. But my other thing was, Bruno, what are you doing, bro? Like, come on, like, again, the intensity. Why are we walking? You've got the ball. You've gone to control the ball.
It looked like he was trying to buy the foul before he even got it. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
And even if you do go down, get straight back up and get after the ball. Yeah, that was my.
Yeah, he was moaning. Yeah,
play, hurry up and play. If you don't hear the whistle, carry on playing. I do think it was a foul. It was. My brother seems to think it was from the side. I'm thinking it's like shoulder blade, you know, just on that weird angle just behind, but it's not at the same time. It was a bit forceful. He kind of stepped through him, and that's a foul to me. It is a foul to me. It's a soft one, but it's still a foul to me. But
I've seen, put it this way, and this is what I mean about the rules changing and Ollie's kind of making it. Last year, that would have been a foul.
Yeah.
You know,
it would have been,
It did. My initial thing when I first saw it, I'm not gonna lie, I thought, Bruno, you look a bit suspect there. I don't know. But when I watched it back quite a few times, I was like, I can see why there's a strong case for a foul. But regardless, and Ollie did say it, and it's true. Like, if you don't hear the whistle, like, what are you doing? Like, you have to get back up. You have to close people down. You can't just expect to just get the decision and you go get the decision and you go to sleep, which is what happened. Okay, it deflected off Fred. You know what I mean? Cool. You know what I mean? That happens, but we didn't get out quick enough. He got his toe on it, but he should have maybe put his body there. Harry Maguire kind of just turned his body a little bit, didn't really. Do you know what I mean? So it was a calamity of errors when you didn't get it. And, you know, I just feel like Bruno kind of got a little bit out-muscled there. But it could have been given as a foul. I do see what he's saying. Sophian says 1K in the house. Big up. Smash a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you lot are new. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was David De Gea, because he made some big saves yesterday. That one where Armstrong's through, and I want to talk a little bit about Maguire as well, actually.
We do. We bit
uncut. Obviously, in the away end, that happened down the other side, so you couldn't really see whose fault it was. From how far I was, it looked like Luke Shaw passed it to him and he wasn't ready. But when I saw the replay, no, he took a crap touch and didn't know the player was there. And then they're in. But you know, De Gea made some key saves yesterday. Is he starting to get back to a level? And what did you make of Harry Maguire?
Yeah, De Gea for me. When I seen Armstrong through on goal, literally my hands were like this, like no, please no.
I thought it was it. Yeah.
And again, listen, we need to give this man his flowers. 9 times out of 10, Armstrong should be burying that in the back of the net, and De Gea, he comes up trumps and he makes the save, like big save. Like, and he basically kept us. He kept the score modest in that aspect, because we could have lost to the Saints. We could have lost to Southampton. Do you know what I mean? He kept it at a draw, and that's because of him and solely him alone. Maguire for me, it's crazy. During the game, Flex, Maguire and Shaw were doing weird little things, losing the ball and just bad touches here and there. And I literally thought, poor Lindelof. Yeah, all the talks about Varane coming in for Lindelof. But look what Maguire's doing right now. He's actually doing a madness right now. Even though he's played very well through the Euros and before that. But this game, and I know it's a one-off game, Maguire looks shocking, yeah? And Lindelof had a tidier game than Maguire did, yeah? So I was thinking, imagine that. Imagine because players are not stupid. They look on the social media. Oh, Varane's coming in for Lindelof. It's going to be Varane, Maguire. And Lindelof's looking across, looking at Maguire, doing all this madness and thinking, oh, no one's even chatting about you, yeah? But I'm making sure. And Lindelof's played well. He's played well. I know, again, guys, I know, 2 games, I know. But we're only going off what we've seen. He's played well. So, you know, Maguire, I expect better from him. I think that's what it is, Flex. I expect a lot better from him, because we've seen after a while the performances he can start churning out. He had a bit of a stinker at the start of last season, got it together, then through the Euros, available 99% of the games. I think maybe it was 1 game he didn't play, but we need to see better from him, and I expect better in the next game. I don't expect Maguire and Shaw to be making those mistakes that they made in Southampton. At Southampton.
Nah, 100%. He's got to get back on it. He's got to get back on it. Do you know what I'm saying? Lil Yo says, please get onto KG. Please, Flex. He said if Fred scored, that he would get a shirt with Fred at the back. Didn't say what kind of goal. Oh my God! Wow, is that what he says? Jesus. And Jabari says United's biggest problem yesterday was moving the ball too slow. I was screaming at my TV, move the ball quicker, and it was no different to in the stadium there. Jabari, you're spot on. Like, oh, DJ's just gone. I don't know where he's gone, but he's gone. We will carry on. DJ gone. He literally, I think his phone must have died. Yeah, the biggest thing I will say is how slowly we moved the ball. Hold on, let me just fix that. That's annoying. And it was so frustrating to see, because we know we're capable of moving the ball quicker than that. Oh, he's back now. I don't know what happened there. You just went.
Literally, I don't know. I don't know.
It just kicked you out. But yeah, I was basically saying I was agreeing with the person who said there that we just moved the ball so slowly yesterday, and the rhythm just wasn't there. Ali Morgan says Maguire also played with Stones, Walker, and Shaw in the Euros. Now he's playing with Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, and Shaw. We need Donny to start. And Parallel says for me, But for me, the best centre backs at the club is Eric and Raphael. No, I still think they've got to put Maguire there. I think the best are Maguire and Varane now.
Yeah.
But I can see why you were frustrated, bro. At that yesterday, at seeing that yesterday. But yeah, it was so slow, innit? It was so slow.
It was horrible, Flex. It was like Maguire's always kind of been that sort of methodical, slow defender anyway in terms of his build-up play. He's a good passer of the ball. And yesterday, he likes to do that Hollywood ball into the left channel into Shaw. That didn't come off yesterday. It maybe come off maybe once or twice, but it wasn't on yesterday. And you can see once that pass wasn't on, there wasn't anything else he could bring to it. He stepped forward into the midfield a few times, but for a large part of it, that's his little trademark with Shaw. They got that little link up on the left. We didn't really see that. I do think going into the next game, and this ain't a preview show, guys, but make sure you're watching the preview when it comes out. I do think that we need to make these changes. We do need to have Varane come in now alongside Maguire, because Varane, I think it's a psychological boost as well. Kind of how Bruno was our boost for our team, our forward line in the midfield. You bring Varane in, Maguire's going to know, I need to step up. We've got the big man next to me. I need to make sure I'm playing well. So automatically he's going to raise that whole defense. Even the keeper is going to raise everybody at the back. I think that's needed for the next game. We need to reply in this next game. We need to make sure that we can't be doing some of that silly stuff we was doing against Southampton. I couldn't believe it, man. It wasn't the worst performance, but for the standard that we expect now with this team, should have been much better than that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was just a real bad day at the office. Not a real bad day at the office, because there was a period. Do you know what? I was sort of saying, all right, typical, we've gone one down. But actually, again, which proves that Solskjaer has these players. Like, there was a response after halftime. Pressure, we get the goal. Then 5 to 10 minutes after the goal, it looks like the second's coming. Do you know what I mean? Pogba done something where I think he twists up a couple players, left foot shot. That was so close.
Yeah.
The Bruno header. I think there was a half chance for Mason with a header, a bit stretching. They were trying to knock on the door, and it felt like he introduced Sancho really early, got Martial off because he wanted to build on the momentum. So there were little bits of positives. It wasn't all bad yesterday, and obviously we didn't lose, but our standards are high. We see it as 2 points drop because, like I think Scott from 90 Minutes said to me, he was like, City would go and win that game. Liverpool would win that game if, coming back from that. And Ali Morgan says, don't get me wrong, I really like Ollie, but I feel like if we had another manager, they would play something different in midfield, fed up of Fred. I think that's fair to say. There'd probably be a different system in place, or probably there might even be a different midfielder there in general, But just on Sancho real quick, do you know what I liked? Even though he wasn't involved in loads, he looked sharp and he got into positions where he could have made it all about him. Yeah. He could have tried to bust bare step overs, really tried to get the man, go past the man and have to make something happen. But he showed that he has a calmness when he gets into them positions where he kind of just stops with the ball, see who's open. One time he chopped it back to Fred. Fred crossed it with his right foot and Mason had the header. Yeah. There was another one on the left-hand side where he chopped and recycled the ball and just kept the kind of pressure up. He doesn't rush. Yeah. And I like that. Yeah. I like that. It's like he takes people on at the right time and passes at the right time.
Yeah. And for a young player, but he's 21, 22. Yeah. For his age, you can see his decision-making is getting there. It's very good. It's quite mature for his young years already. And what I liked about him as well was he's technically sound, man. Technically sound. Like, you can tell he wants to do the link-up play with the right back. We saw little glimpses of that with Wan-Bissaka. They weren't quite on the same wavelength for some of it, but I think in time that's going to develop quite well. And, he got into some positions where he was not through in on goal, but he was in the channel. He was in that right-handed side channel, collecting the ball. And I was thinking, man, if he was on from this, if he was starting, maybe we would have had more assists in the game. Maybe we would have had a few more chances. So I'm excited now. And I think Ollie's done, and this is where I will give Ollie props. He's built him up slowly. He has built him up through pre-season. He's giving him minutes here or there. He came on, obviously, against Leeds. For, I'm not sure how long he was on for, maybe like 20 minutes or something like that. And then he came on in the 60th minute. I was actually yes, Ollie, put him on 60 minutes. Good.
Yeah, it was good. And he was doing it at the right time. He was doing it early to try and impact the game, and he could see he was in a positive moment.
Yeah, exactly. And so, going forward, we're going to see a lot more of him. I think Ollie now knows, yeah, Sancho's got to start now. I think he's up to
He
speed
does, yeah.
enough to contribute to the game positively. So, good showing, mature. We're going to see more from him, though, once he gets up to speed.
Yeah. Just lastly, as we finish off the show, Brandon Williams' loan move is expected to be confirmed today. He's completed his medical. So, quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, another loan. I think one thing I will say, they've done amazing at getting these young players out quite quickly. Actually, within the span of a week, there's a number
They've
of them
sorted out the young bucks, definitely.
Yeah. Young bucks are out, getting their loan deals and stuff like that.
Last one's Ahmad though. Ollie has spoken about if the right one comes in for him, then we'll let him go on loan. If not, he'll join the squad.
I think he should join the squad anyway. He's good enough now to have some form of contribution. He's still got Matter and that sitting there, so Ahmad can definitely come in and maybe try something new. We need something different. We know what the 11 usually is. We now need Ollie to start using the bench, creating some different formulas on the pitch. Because at the moment, it's like if Plan A and Plan B don't work, if we're not counter-attacking, if Bruno's not showing up, what do we do then? It kind of gets a bit dead. So got to use the bench, man. Got to use our players. But low moves are good. We just need to sell, Flex. We need the money coming in, man.
Yeah, we do. We'll have to see what happens next Tuesday, I think it is. So just over a week for the transfer window to shut. And hopefully we can get some movement. It looks unlikely, looks very unlikely, but you never know. I think the only potential things that could happen is a late Lingard out and a late midfielder in. Yeah. If Lingard goes, then they can replace him with, it frees up a space for Camavinga or someone like that.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't have the feel. I wouldn't bet anything on Camavinga coming. That doesn't have the pace. Maybe someone out the blue who we didn't expect if Lingard does move. Or worse still, Lingard just leaves and then nothing happens. We don't get any incomers. So we'll see. And Fake Sonia says CDM in January maybe, and Lingard loan. Yeah, maybe Lingard might go on a loan because West Ham don't want to pay the fees, but Jesse really wants to play, so they go, all right, loan, and then the fee next year is 20 million or whatever. I don't know. We will see. Guys, thanks very much for watching. Smash a like on the video. Big up for DJ coming through. Big up your socials, DJ. Let them know where they can find you. Yeah, guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. It's DJ Talks, all one word, and underscore at the end. So DJ Talks _. Love that, man. Okay. Anyway, people, we will see you guys tomorrow. What day is it tomorrow? Tuesday. Flex and KG tomorrow, 2 p.m. And we will see you there later.